Welcome to my crammed up garage where we're going to do this 1979 C3 Corvette engine swap from a 350 to a 454. I just have a couple little pictures here before I start showing the drop-in of the engine, where I've got a 2-bolt main block 289 series that has been line honed and studded, bored 30 over, and then has dome pistons that are 31 cc in the volume. The 781 heads have been ported and the inner chamber has been ported also, so that it has about 122 cc in volume. That gives me just shy of 10-to-1 total compression with the bigger valves that have been added to it. Went with a Edelbrock Rolling Thunder, a hydraulic roller cam. Was going to originally do a comp cam that's going to go for a different big block project now. That's for a supercharger, so this one kind of worked out that I had it to use. Got the single plane intake on there. It's just a Victor Jr. 454O. And here's just kind of the building process of it. Not a total picture overall, but this is where it is now. Alright, so this 454 here is all done, and I don't know what kind of little videos I had, but I'm getting ready to mate it up here to the transmission, and I just kind of thought I'd take a second just to go over it briefly, just out here in the garage. Spring just started here for April, and finally this thing's come together with the pulleys. Everything's on here, and fuel pump, starter, the mount. I still got to put the flex plate on the back, and I'm gonna lift up with my lift cart there the transmission to mount it up to here, and then get the hoist. Then we're gonna take and drop it in here. Everything's kind of all opened up here. This is the 79. Had the 350, took it out. Gonna put the big block in its place. I'll try to do a little bit of clips here and there just as I go along for the swap. I guess not a lot of information out there. You know, most people that do car stuff, they don't really show all the stuff they do or really tell you how to do stuff. And this is older engine building, and all the modern stuff today is about LS and all that stuff. But believe me, these fat valve covers and roller cam in here will make as much power as a LS, and it'll be pretty much at idle. It'll make more power. This is a 350 transmission over there I had. It's a B&M built one that I went through. Had it a few years ago. Basically, I don't put 350s behind big blocks unless it's just a issue. This guy that has the car, he's got a 350 with that setup, and so just because the fact that it's there, I actually swapped this one out, and then the drive shaft, you won't have to do anything extra, and not going to be a race car, so it'll be fine. I'll probably talk him into doing a 400 transmission a little bit further down the road. People are limited on their money, I understand that. Anyway, but this is just going to be the beginning shot, just kind of going over it. Here's some old, I polished these up a little bit, valve covers here for the big block. Got an Edelbrock 454O intake, 781 heads that have been severely ported. Bigger valves, 219, 188. And that's one of the Edelbrock Victor Jr. short water pumps. And I think that's probably a Summit aluminum cover for the timing chain. But it's got a comp key, or no, I'm sorry. We didn't go with comp, we went with Edelbrock. We did like a whole Edelbrock setup here. It's their new Rolling Thunder, newer Rolling Thunder hydraulic roller. But we're going to get to that then, and then kind of go from here and see how we can stuff it in, and see if I can get some pointers out there to help anybody. Okay, so I got the 454 off the engine stand, and we're going to mount up the transmission. I'm going to use my pump here, my foot pump. Yeah, I'll probably lower this thing down some more to mate it up to it, because that's pretty close. That's where we're at right now with this part of combining it. I got the load leveler on there and everything, so hopefully this will go together and we can get this thing in. Okay, so I used the card here and I have mounted the transmission on. I actually cut the ears off here because I realized that it'll be easier to take this out in the car with those off and leave the headers on. Too hard to fool with the exhaust. But right now I just kind of have it like pivoted on everything that's on the stand here. Got this marked out. The hole's got to go in. Got to adjust some of this stuff, and then this will be ready to drop in. That's where I got now. I torqued the flex plate on there, and I've got the converter bolts in there with some washers and Loctite. Alright, but yeah, we're going to keep moving, and that is where we are. Alright, so here's where I'm getting creative. I got that jack down there, and I got to loosen up the arm. It's not long enough. Not enough space to get in the Corvette. I got to go up a couple holes. So I'm hoping this works, but I was just taking a snippet when you get desperate. You know, I can't put it back on the stand now. So always measure twice at least. Alright, so the 454 is in, and I'm just mocking up some other random stuff, and I was going to try to record putting it in here. I've got an extended reach with my engine hoist, so I go through the front, and the transmission worked out fine. Drop it in there and put it on the cross member. Just use the load leveler. You know, in here you can see how much space there is. Very little between that valve cover. I actually should have put something on there because I scraped it when I was lowering it down, when I was pushing it in. But it's on that side spot. It's kind of hard to see. And these are just basically factory style. They're not real tall or anything. If you had a taller one, I guess you could probably get away with it fitting. Be hard to probably get it off if you had to change anything, though. But I have comp cam roller rockers on there, the Ultra Pro, and everything's fine with that. So, you know, these are just the 781 heads to the port work on. Over here I got the fuel pump down there. Had to clock it so that it's in a weird position just because it's so tight to the frame there. I can get it, it's actually facing towards the engine. Other than that, the motor mounts are good, nothing wrong there. And just got all the wiring messed back here with the transmission. You can see how much space is here between the firewall and the actual engine block on these Vettes is quite a bit. Still got to put the distributor in. And got a long ways to go, but still got to figure out what I'm gonna do about the power steering pump. And I'll probably fab up some brackets And then I'm going to put the alternator probably on that side, up high kind of on the passenger side, off the heads. I'll make a bracket for that too. And just got to get the headers on. I mean, one thing for sure, you know, there's a pretty good amount of space in there. I mean, that power steering pump, I'm thinking it's probably not going to be a problem. These are the headers I got are fitted for it. And there's a little marking tab there, gear tab. I got to move that, bend it out of the way. But you can see that there's a pretty good amount of clearance there on the driver's side, which is always the tightest. Coming over here to the passenger side, you can see there's a pretty big amount of space. Already got the starter on there and everything. Shouldn't be an issue with that. But it's in, and looks pretty good so far. Just got a long ways to go getting everything situated. But there's a 5-inch cowl hood with this car, so shouldn't be a problem fitting that tall single plane in there, and a carb and air cleaner.